Hi friends, we are back with another how-to tutorial. Today we will be drawing Midoriya, or better known as Deku, from My Hero Academia. I've gotten a lot of requests for My Hero Academia. There's a few other characters that I do want to draw. I have watched it myself. I'll say I do like Bakugo, even though he's kind of a meanie. I do like him. But we're going to start out with Midoriya or Deku because he's the main character. So, let's see. So we're going to find the middle of our page. I have my pencil and my paper, and I'm just going to put a little dot just for me. So his eyes, generally we've drawn a lot of pictures where their eyes are closer together. His eyes are kind of farther apart, and they're kind of like half circles, because he has like an oval pupil and then he has like two half circles coming around it. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to start on the left side of my paper. I'm just going to make a oval. So I just have one oval. And between his eyes, he has some hair coming down. He kind of has crazy hair. So I'm not going to draw that yet, but I'm going to put about 2 fingers space between his eyes. So I have my 2 fingers, and then that's how I know where I want to draw the other pupil, just about. So that's just going to be another oval. Alright, so now we have 2 ovals pretty far apart from each other. So now, in the middle of those, we're going to draw his actual pupil. So we're just going to do another small oval inside. And go ahead and do it on the other side, and we're going to color those in black. Just that tiny oval you drew, not the whole eye. So I colored one, I'm going to draw the other, I'm going to color in that one black as well. Alright, so right now it should just look something like this. So his eyes are pretty much 2 C shapes. So one, the C is facing the right direction, 2, the other one it's backwards. So I'm just going to start out with a round curve on the side. So I'm going to make a round curve and then kind of trace around the eye. I don't want to make a perfect C because then it would look a little goofy. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to trace around the eye a little bit. So I'm starting out with a curve, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring that around his eye. So I brought it around his eye. So I'm going to do the same thing, remember, on the other side. It's all about being symmetrical. So I want it to kind of be, remember, the same size, just about. And this is where I still get stuck, is making things the same size. I like when the bottoms of eyes are like really straight lines, because then I can just take a ruler and I can make both lines straight, and then it's perfect. I don't have to worry about spacing, nothing like that. But that's not how all characters are. Okay, so should look something like that. So his eyebrows, they're going to be pretty thin, and his hair is going to run into his eyebrows. So go ahead and draw them lightly. They're just going to be 2 small lines kind of following the curve of his eye. So I'm going to draw mine really light because his hair is going to run into them, and we're going to have to erase bits and pieces. So that way it'll look like his hair is blocking bits of it. So I just drew 2 light lines above it. So his nose, he just has a cute little simple nose. So we're going to go between his eyes, come down a little bit, and you're just going to draw kind of a little bump, little curve. He has a cute little nose. And then we're going to draw his mouth. His mouth is going to be pretty easy. We're just going to go with the straight line, and we're going to curve the ends. So he's just going to have like a little smile. So if you want, you can get like a book or something and make your straight line. So then so it'll look like that. He'll look pretty unamused, and then we're gonna just curve up those ends. So one side's curved up, the other side is curved up. So now it looks like he's smiling. Perfect. So Midoriya does have some freckles. So he has 4 on each side, and they kind of follow like a diamond shape. So I'm just going to put 2 right under his eye. So then I'm going to start making that diamond shape. So have 1 over here, 1 over here. And then to complete that diamond shape, if I was going to connect them all, it would be 1 down here. So just like that. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now he has his freckles. So now we're going to start doing his jaw. So a lot of anime characters, it's pretty much almost the same. So remember, we're going to come in with a slight curve, and then we're going to connect. Since Deku is younger, he doesn't have like a pointed jaw. He's still a kid, so his kind of like rounds out a little bit. So I'm going to start on my left side. I'm going to draw a curved line coming down. Alright, so then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Have a curved line coming down. Alright, so I stop pretty much at his mouth. About there is where we're going to want to have it start connecting. So, like I said, he doesn't have a pointed jaw. So I'm going to do a dot. So I'm going to put a dot where I want his chin to connect. So I'm going to bring it down on the left side, and I'm going to bring it down on the right side. So now we're just going to round out the bottom of his chin. We're going to connect those. Kind of like my chin. Like, see, it's not very pointed, just rounded. So then we'll just have those meet up. So he has a very round chin. And if you want, for more detail, you can always give him like a little line under his mouth to kind of show where his lip would be at. You could even put lines near his eyes, just kind of more details. Alright, so now we're going to start drawing his ears. So his ears are actually covered partially by his hair, so we're only going to be drawing half of his ear. So we will start with the upper parts of the hair, so that way we know where the ears will meet. So I'm going to start on my left side, and I'm just going to give him 2 little curved triangles. So 2 little curved triangles. So that's the hair kind of meeting on his face. So now on the right side, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to give him some pieces of hair to come down. Alright, so on that side I put 3. So his ear, part of his ears are going to be coming out from those parts of his hair, because his hair is going to come all around. So I'm going to start on the left side, and I'm going to give his hair a little flick out. And so we have that little flick out, and now we can start drawing his ear. So on that left side, all I'm going to do is just make a curved line and have it just meet into the side of his head. So curved line, have it meet into the side of his head. Before I put details, I'm going to go ahead and draw the ear on the other side, so that way, remember, it's symmetrical and both ears are going to be kind of the same height from each other. So we're looking for about relatively the same height. So remember, about the same thing, just a curved line. So now for the details in the ear, it's pretty much just going to be, we'll do it simply. It's just going to be lines. So on the left side, I'm going to give him a little half circle, and then I'm going to give him another circle. So I drew a little half circle and then another circle. So that looks like the inner parts of his ear. On the right side, I'm going to give him kind of a crooked line coming down and then another one coming down. See, it's kind of like a crooked one and then another one. Alright, so now that we have kind of the outlines of his ears, we might change them, we might erase them, it depends on his hair, but we're going to start drawing his hair kind of coming out around that. So, let's start on the left side. So we have that piece that kind of flicks off his ear, and his hair kind of has no rhyme or reasons. There's not really like a pattern to it. He has a lot of, so this is a picture I drew a while ago. So he kind of has a lot of, we're going to just call them like little triangles. They kind of just come out and point all around. So I'm going to start making those, and your guys's doesn't have to be exactly like mine. It's hair. If one strand of my hair was over here versus back there, no one's going to know. Alright, so we're going to draw just kind of some pieces coming around. So I started on that side, kind of just have pieces. Alright, so now we kind of have an idea of how far we want his hair to go out. Now we need to start drawing it coming onto his forehead, so that way we know how tall his hair is actually going to be. So remember I said there's going to be some pieces coming to meet his eyebrows. So we have these pieces of hair on his face. We're just going to make triangles to kind of come around to have it meet to the other side. And he does have hair come down in the middle. So I'm going to start on my left side, and I'm going to have a piece arch up, go through his eyebrow, come back down. So it's pretty much like touching his eye. So I have it arch up, come down through his eyebrow, touching his eye. It's okay if your guys' isn't. So now see what I mean? So there's a piece of the eyebrow and the hair. So then we're going ahead and erase that. So now it looks like that piece of hair covers that bit of his eyebrow. Alright, so now I'm going to go over to the right side and do the same thing. Kind of have pieces come down into his eyebrow because I want his hair to meet up symmetrically in the middle of his forehead. So we'll have some more longer pieces come up, a little short piece, longer piece. Alright, so I'm just drawing kind of those big upside down like V's. So now I'm going to erase the bits of the eyebrow that showed through the hair. So right there, right there, right there. So now it looks like bits of his hair coming down. So now we're going to draw the point. Whoops, we're going to draw the point where it comes down in the middle. So I'm going to go back to my left side. I'm going to draw a bit more pieces of hair. Maybe some are longer than others, maybe some are short. And then I'm going to draw a nice little curve down the middle, like so. So a nice little curve down the middle like so. So now I'm going to go on the other side and draw little bits to meet that hair in the middle. So draw this, and then we're going to have it swoop down to meet that other piece of hair. Alright, so he has a piece falling on his face. Now we can draw the outer parts of his hair, how big we want it to be. So remember, it's just kind of, it's not really spiky like Bakugo's. It's more kind of messy, kind of wavy. So we're just going to draw points kind of sticking out all over. So I'm going to come on the right side, and I'm going to kind of flick off his ear a little bit. So flick off his ear. And I'm just going to go around and draw spiky waves all around. So, and they're just like little V's, remember? So I'm just going to do that all around my paper. So this is all I'm doing. Just kind of like little V's, big V's, and it's going to go all the way around. So I did some on the right, so I'll do some on the left. Remember, we can give him some strands pointing up because his hair is a little wacky. So what I mean by that, so instead of going all the same direction, you can have it point up, you can have it go out, point down, however you want. So I'm going to do some pointed up because he kind of has silly hair, like he doesn't brush it all the time. And I'm going to do kind of some longer strands. See some longer strands. You can do shorter ones. So I did some on my left, so now I'm going to go back to my right, do some that way. So we go side by side, kind of slowly, because remember, we don't want it to be unsymmetrical, if that's a word. Alright. So now mine kind of is looking like this. So now I need to have them connect in the middle. So I'm going to draw a piece up top where I kind of want the middle to be. So now I have a reference point where I want them to connect. So now I'm just going to draw kind of pieces that are wavy to get him to there. So I have one side connected to it, and now I'll have the other side. So Deku's hair is actually green, kind of like Beast Boys. And it's, let's see. So this is how I have mine. So his hair is a bit more wide than that, but that's okay. So now to give it more detail, we're going to give him like individual strands. So just coming off pieces of his hair, we're just going to draw lines. So it looks like it's splitting pieces. So we're just going to draw lines on pieces. So this is what I mean. So in this one, we got a piece. Let's see. So see how it looks like he's getting more individual pieces. So we're just going to do that all throughout his hair. It helps give it that little bit more detail. And if you don't want to color it in, that's okay. You could color it in pencil and shade it. If you get another piece of paper, you could run it over the pieces of pencil you've colored, and it'll give it kind of like that smooth gray look. So this is what I mean. So it gives his hair like individual pieces. It helps give it that little bit more pizzazz. So now that we have his hair, we can go into drawing the lower part of his body. So we're going to give him, he kind of has a short neck because we're going to actually draw part of his school uniform. So we're just going to do 2 straight lines coming down from his neck. 2 straight lines coming down from his neck. We're going to look like his shirt, like how my lanyard is coming back from behind his neck. So we're going to give it a curve. So I'm going to draw a line just like this. So it looks like something is curving out from behind his neck. So I'm going to go on the right side and do the same thing, but I'm going to drag it all the way down, how my lanyard goes. So I'm going to go to the same height, and I'm going to drag that all the way down on one side. So short on one side, long on the other. Now I'm going to make a point right in the middle, and from where his neck is, I want to pretend like it's coming to meet. So on the end of his necklines, go ahead and draw 2 lines out like that. So the end of his neckline, 2 lines out like that. So from there, we're going to make a V and connect it, because that is going to be the top of where his tie is going to be at. So I put a dot so I know where I want my lines to connect. All right, so it should look something like this. All right, so now we can go to drawing his shoulders. So coming off on the left side, we're just going to draw a short line coming down, and on the right side, the same height, a short line coming down. So that looks like the top of his shoulders. So remember where we drew this little line? Now we're going to go ahead and draw one coming off of it, going all the way down. All the way down. So that you can still see that line pointing out there. We drew another one coming all the way down. So now, where that V connects, I'm going to draw a curved line. So I have a curved line where that V connects. And then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of round out the edges. So I round out the edges, and then I'm going to connect it just like this. So this is going to be his tie. So right now you should have kind of like a curved rectangular shape. So from there, we have his tie coming down one side, coming down the other side. So I have 2 lines coming down where we connected them, and then it's going to kind of point like a diamond and run off the page. So it looks like his tie is going off the page. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and draw two lines coming off the tie. So it's just going to be a curve on the left side, a curve on the right side. So curve on the left side, a curve on the right side. I'm going to color in my tie a little bit so that way you guys don't get confused on the lines. And then, yeah, this will hopefully make it easier to see. Okay, so now we have the inner parts of his shirt. So now we can draw the kind of like the flaps to his suit. So on his shoulder, his left shoulder, we're going to draw a diagonal line out, and the same thing on his right. So by the diagonal line out, there was part of his shoulder, and I drew it, and I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. So I have two diagonal lines coming out, one there and one there coming off between the shoulder. And then I'm going to connect them. So I'm going to have it come down a little, have it come down a little. And then we're going to draw a curved line coming out, curved line coming out, and we're going to just bring it down to the bottom of the page. So these will be parts of like his suit. To give his neck some more detail, you can draw those two slanted lines we've done before. So now we can go into his shoulder. So now I'm just going to round out the sides. Oops, too round. So he usually has buttons on the top of his shoulders, but for time's sake, I'm going to leave them out. So remember where the shoulder line was? I just curved it and brought it down, curved it and brought it down. To give it more detail, you can draw kind of like lines on his clothing. Kind of like creases. But there you have it. There is Deku. You can color his hair in green if you'd like. But like I show you how I did him a while back. If you could see that. Okay, there you go. So I just kind of shaded in his hair. I did add the buttons on the top. But however you guys do them, I'm sure it'll be awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll love to see your guys' Deku or Midoriya. Thank you.